Welcome back to the Kovacs Report, weekly comic book review show with Jimmy X and myself. Spoiler show, read them if you got them, because we're going to spoil the hell out of them, bar one. And we're going to jump straight into it this week because there's lots of cool and not so cool stuff to talk about. Starting with the Energon universe, which you usually laud about.
Everyone knows who watches the show. I'm a huge cheerleader for the Angelo universe, and well, let's just get to this. Scarlett issue 3, published by Image and Skybound, written by Kelly Thompson, with art and cover art by Marco Ferrari, and future GI Joe team. Future G.I. Joe team founder Scarlett has been sent to recover her friend and military asset Jinx, who went undercover searching for the Arashikage ninja clan. This book continues to be a source of frustration to me, really. The first issue was okay, setting up the spy versus ninja stuff and ending with an awesome Storm Shadow reveal in the last panel. I could get behind that. The second issue I felt dragged its feet a lot, with Scarlett being accepted by the clan somewhat, and then planning this infiltration heist, which is the focus of issue 3. My problem is the focus really lacks focus. I can't say much to spoil this comic because there's not really much story, to be honest. Scarlett infiltrates this multi-level building facility, each one with fancy names, taking out faceless, nameless goons with reckless abandon until she enters into a boss battle, which poses a little more trouble, but not much. She reunites with her buddy Jinx in not much of an emotional payoff at all. And the highlight of the issue for me was when the buyer arrives and it's a Cobra helicopter. And I was like, yes, okay, thrilling. Things are about to get good. And then I turned the page and I discovered all that was going to lay before me was a letters page.
Wow.
And that literally, Angelo, was all she wrote. Disappointing doesn't sum up my feelings for this book. Okay, it's no secret. I'm clearly much more of a fan of the giant robot part of the Angel universe. That's true. But the way Duke and especially Cobra Commander wove Transformers into the narrative was so good, and it set me up to expect this as the standard for Energon universe books.
So a little bit of a misstep. First misstep in the almost a year and a half worth of good stuff.
It's a misstep, Angelo. With G.I. Joe launching as an ongoing in November, when the cover depicting the Joe standing on top of what looks like a pile of fallen Autobots, that's piqued my interest. And also my beloved Void Rivals, that's going to be integrating G.I. Joe characters into it very soon. I'm sure this was just a blip, but man, did it hurt.
Oh dear. All is not well in the Energon universe. So not recommended this week, no?
I really can't. I don't know whether I'll pick up the last 2 issues.
Well, Jim, if it makes you feel better, I'm going to skip to the next book. Venom War #1. By that reaction, I'm guessing you read it too, right? So I thought, mate,
tried.
All right, okay. So I've been shitting all over this. Everyone's got a symbiote thing, right? And we knew it was leading to somewhere, and this is, I guess, where it's leading to, right? So Venom War, out from Marvel, written by Aban Coelho and Frank Diamata on the art. And again, sorry to start this show with some bad language, but what the living fuck is this? Honestly, it feels like Kathleen Kennedy got bored of destroying Star Wars and Indiana Jones, popped in the Marvel Venom office to see if anything that she could break on her lunch hour, because this is what it feels like. It's terrible. Absolute trash from the first panel to the last. And it starts with this World Wrestling Federation style smackdown on some alien planet being gatecrashed by Eddie Brock and his Kings of Black symbiote gang. Something I've no idea about because I gave up on the last big symbiote shit show of an event anyway. So where do I even start? So Eddie puts out an ultimatum on the show's broadcast, which goes all across the galaxy, I take it, right? Which is bizarre because it's on an alien planet, and they've later referred to say, hey, your dad's on TV. How are they getting alien TV? I don't know. Anyway, he says he wants his son back and his other, which I'm assuming is Venom, and they ain't leaving until they get him. He's also announcing the beginning of the Venom War, and that also announces the end of my interest in the whole event. It was awful. So after that, we get a little catch-up page. Eddie has gained power and control over all the symbionts because he's now the King in Black, right? And his son Dylan has become the new Venom and vanished, right? Both Eddie and Dylan have had visions of each other's future if they stay bonded with the Venom symbiote and their fates, which they want to prevent, even if it means war. And they don't tell you what those fates are anyway. So Dylan and Venom have also separated, and Dylan can't locate or connect with Venom. Trust me, it gets worse. We're further punished with some montage backstory history of Venom being narrated by a sobby cry baby Venom, right? That predates Spider-Man and goes through all the hosts that Venom has bonded with over the, I don't know how many years, centuries, whatever, all the way up to Dylan, Eddie's son, right? He's having this huge existential crisis, and he's crying about, like I said, about how the fact that every time he bonds with someone, he destroys their lives or destroys them. And currently, Venom is hiding on a hanger in Peter Parker's wardrobe with his other suits. I shit you not. Venom, one of the most amazing, vicious, scary-ass villains of the Marvel Universe, turned hero, turned villain, turned hero, turned... You get it. Is hiding on a hanger in Peter Parker's wardrobe. So this is all overlaid with the worst dialogue you could possibly imagine. Honestly, it's insulting how bad it is, right? But anyway, back to the story. Well, I say story, back to whatever this is, right? Dylan, Eddie's son, he's camped out in a sewer, talked to some shadowed figure, and he tells him that he was taken beyond death, met the eventuality, which is like some giant Venom hand, who I think is Eddie's hand, but it's not clear, who told him he could ask 5 questions, right? And then he was shown his future as Venom, and that he would become the big bad, and he would destroy everything and everyone, and destroy of worlds. Another question he asked is answered with, well, he asked, how do I stop it? And he says, you will know when the time comes, or something like that. Anyway, the big reveal, right? Are you ready for the big reveal? You are. You've seen it. You read it. Is that he's talking to his time-traveling older self, basically a knockoff Cable, who tells himself that they have to go back to the past to 3 points and kill the future. So knockoff Cable actually fucks off through a time portal as Toxin shows up randomly and tells Dylan to watch his dad on TV. And oh man, he's basically a WWF wrestler taking on all his opponents fighting in the ring. Awful. Anyway, back in Dylan's crib, or his friend's crib, he's with his mates, and he realises he has to fight his dad for some reason. No idea why. Doesn't explain it. I'm sure I might have missed something. And then we have this little couple of pages with Liz Allen, CEO of Alchemax, and her board members, who say they've got to do something about Eddie, and they enlist Mr. Meridius, whoever he is, don't care. And Mr. Meridius happens to have this chemical, K44, the symbiote-killing chemical Black Widow got the other day from the other thing, right? And he's all like a mysterious, woo, I'm a big bad guy. And this is what we need to win the Venom War, which I still do not know what's about. I really don't know what's happening. Yeah. Anyway, we jump to Peter, who's written as equally bad, giving Venom a little pep talk, right? A little like, you're going to be okay pep talk. You can do it. While Dylan and his posse travel to Venom World. Yeah, Venom World is where Venom is, right? Not Venom, his dad. Anyway, he confronts his dad. His dad wants the Venom suit back. And out of nowhere, Pete Parker turns up wearing Venom in the black suit. Huh? Yeah. That's what I got from it, right? Jesus Christ, I can't believe I wasted this much time on this review. It's toilet paper. Avoid at all costs. Minus brain trash from the House of No Ideas. It's awful. What? And if this is the event, everything else connected to it, 99% of it is probably going to be just as bad. I don't think they're going to have a Blood Hunt Captain Britain, not Britain, who is it? Union Jack.
Union Jack.
A cool Union Jack tie or something. I hope they got something, but because this is a waste of paper.
Do not want... What happened to Venom, man?
No idea. Cool. They just made him into a massive... They should start calling him Pussy instead of Venom, in my opinion. Anyway, I don't want to talk about it anymore. It makes me sad. Gotham City Sirens. I've got a high hope for this.
Gotham City Sirens.
I've got high hopes.
Sirens, yeah. Published by DC, written by Leah Williams. That's Alan Moore's daughter. Art by Matteo Lolli, with beautiful cheesecake art from Terry Dodson and Rachel Dodson there on the front cover. So this is a weekly 4-issue miniseries. So over the next 4 weeks.
Sorry, did you say the Dodsons are on this one?
Yeah, that's just the cover, man.
Oh, we know it's going to look good, at least.
Hmm.
Let's
Yeah,
get
not the
into it.
interiors, but
The
the
covers, right?
interiors aren't the interiors aren't shabby either. To be fair,
No. But
Matteo
I do
Lolly
love
did a
that
good.
cover, man. I love that cover.
Yeah. So we start off at night in an alley in Gotham City. It's pretty standard for a DC story. A young woman, Jaina, is being pursued by a bunch of cowboys on horseback. She splits off into her alter ego, the White Rabbit, as basically the two bodies share the same consciousness and can see through each other's eyes. To draw them away from her other self until she's rescued by Catwoman. Um, Meanwhile, White Rabbit is being taken captive by the Cowboy Bros. At the Gotham City Zoo, Harley Quinn's taking her pet hyenas, Bud and Lou, for walkies.
Brilliant.
Waiting for Lou to finish doing his dirty business, she spots a herd of stampeding bison.
Of course she
She
does.
considers check. She considers checking it out, and she's like, "No," stops herself. Not my problem. Until she sees the reason they're stampeding. Another couple of cowboys on dirt bikes, shooting guns at them. As they shoot one of the beasts seemingly dead, she leaps into action in her usual wacky style, taking them both out and leaving them for her hyenas to guard while she heads off to check the bison's body. On closer examination, she discovers that the bison are a mix of techno-organic material. The would-be hunters bicker about having not leveled up enough to do bison hunts yet, and they're in danger of being permabanned for only having bought their new avatars recently. And she, hey, oh no, let's try logging out. And then they log out, and then their meat suits fall to the ground like lifeless husks. Um, we cut to Poison Ivy's hideout. She's running tests on a controversial new flavor of energy drink called Exo Punch, which has instigated the public into rioting for it. Um, Ivy has a couple of rioters suspended over a mutant Venus flytrap, and Harley arrives with a bison to show her um, to show her the bison, and as well as the lifeless avatars. Catwoman and Jaina also show up, and Jaina explains she was asked to take part in a citywide game, and when she refused, she was hunted down, as we saw earlier, noting that she saw where White Rabbit was taken to a ghost town just outside Gotham County lines, and we discover that's where the Exo Punch energy drink is being manufactured and distributed, with hordes of cowboy bros and zombified teens behind the whole thing, instigating it, live streaming from a hot tub, clad in just a bikini, is the Joker's new girlfriend, Punchline.
Hey.
She asked the chat what they're in the mood for, and the consensus screams headshot. So basically, it's like a live action, real life, citywide version of Fortnite or PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. Some
Love
kind of
it.
battle royal online shooter, but for real. She shouts "pull," and the captive is then released, running for his life, only to be shot in the head while she plugs the drink. Don't forget, guys, with every Exo Punch sold, you get 5 punch bucks for in-game currency or loot boxes, or you could even cash in for a chance to play with me. The body
Where do I
falls
sign
while
up?
Punchline. The body falls while Punchline coos for us to tune in next time, boys. Which I thought
Nice.
was kind of a fourth wall breaky thing too. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I
Yeah.
enjoyed this first issue. I'm probably going to check it out week to week to see what happens. Yeah, I'm
Great. Well, I've
enjoying
got
it.
it on my read pile, so I'm glad that it's good because I think you need books like this sometimes that are just a little bit of
Yeah,
fun.
I wasn't
Oh, good.
familiar with Punchline, but she was cool. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, she does look cool as well. I've seen a bit of her
Lots
stuff.
of cool characters.
Talking about girls doing it right, let's move on to some more girls doing it right from DC. Birds of Prey. Kelly Thompson continues. This is the penultimate part of this dimension hopping, portal hopping, alternate university type thing. Art by, I'm going to get his name right, Javier Pina. Anyway, the search of Barbara Gordon continues, and last issue we saw Vixen mid-battle with the big bad Maya. And as a quick reminder, the Birds of Prey are jumping from pocket dimension to pocket dimension, with each of those dimensions being shaped by the mind of each of the team. All right, this one is dinosaurs, and with now Vixen reconnected to the red, she's got some bitch ass slapping powers going down. She is slapping some bitches down. It's really, really cool. Anyway, the team realizes that they can't take the chance of a final showdown here because they've only got one portal left, right? Because they're trying to find Barbara. She's in one of these pocket dimensions. And they're even unsure that even if they defeat Maya, they might end up trapped in these pocket dimensions because she kind of controls them in some way. So they decide to make a run for it for the next pocket dimension, the last one. And this time, Sin's going to shape the world they go into. And we get a real cutesy, chibi, Powerpuff Girl cartoon world, right? It looks really cool. Anyway, they're not happy about this because cartoons are filled with, as they say, incalculable violence, right? And literal anvils are falling from the sky. But they find Barbara, which is cool. Anyway, after some hugs, some beers, and a catch up, they discover the safest way out is to try and find the original portal. But Sella, Maya's sister, she's been searching for 10 years. She hasn't found it. So they debate what to do about Maya, and they're not sure that killing her is a solution. They do suggest that Sella, like Maya, could absorb her sister's powers, because that's what Maya did. She killed all the sisters apart from Sella to become as powerful she is. So they theorize it might enable her herself to open a portal, but the thought of killing her sister does not sit well with Sella. After some cutesy huggy time with Batgirl, Barbara presents a new plan, which is to cause as much chaos as possible to alert Maya where they are. So she comes through the portal, right? But not before fighting hundreds of weaponized cartoon rabbits, which I thought was cute. Anyway, Maya appears through the new portal. Sin activates her demon part of her that lives in her body, Magira, who comes out and wraps herself around Maya, and they pull her and all jump into the portal that opens up. And then we cut through, because we're assuming they're jumping through back to the real world, right? So we cut through back to the portal in the real world where Hellblazer, Xanthi, and the crew that led up to this at the beginning of the arc, they're all waiting for the birds of prey to return, but they think the team might already be dead. It's not a bad issue. I think this arc has slowed down a bit, and the idea of this pocket dimensioning is just starting to stretch a little bit too far. But it's still good. It's still fun. I think it's one of those things where they dip it, add a little bit of humor, because the last issue is going to be much more hard hitting. Yeah, it's good. I'd recommend it if you've been following the whole relaunch of the book and this arc. Not bad at all. I like it. All right, Mr.
Cool.
Event Guy. We jump through to Batman and the Absolute Power tie-in. Does it reveal anything?
Yeah.
Too early, like all the other books have been revealing, or are we good to go?
I think we're good to go. This is set after the second issue of Absolute Power, though.
Okay.
So yeah. Anyway, yeah, Batman.
Oh, please, Jim, tell me it's good, because Batman needs to come back.
Published by DC, written by Chip Zdarsky, art by Mike Hawthorne, and cover art by Salvador LaRocca.
Lovely cover.
So Batman and Catwoman have flown to Gamora, off the coast of Okinawa, with forged identities, claiming they're private military contractors working for Century Globe. Their mission is to steal Amanda Waller's immensely powerful alien supercomputer known as a Mother Box. Needing a thief, Batman went to the best one he knows, Catwoman. So Bruce Wayne is disguised in a ridiculous blonde wig and mustache, meeting with a general under the pretense of needing a training ground off books for his private army in the wake of superhero chaos, offering the general $4 million to be the guy who greases the wheels. Meanwhile, Selina's free to move around the base, noticing that Waller's Suicide Squad are in the building to protect it. The General and Bruce drive out to survey the training ground. He asks if there are any facilities with it, or is it just the land? The General replies there's a black channel spot bunker base that was built a few years ago, but no amount of money is going to get you into that. And Bruce muses, okay, I guess I'll have to try something else, while changing into his Batman gear right in front of the General, making him sweat in fear. The Catwoman then encounters the Suicide Squad members Clock King, Black Alice, and Deadeye, being attacked by the trio until Batman then jumps in to even up the odds. Catwoman hacks her way into the compound. Meanwhile, Batman takes down the trio, but Bizarro, an imperfect backward logic clone of Superman, enters the fray. As Batman tricks Bizarro into helping him and escapes, Selina tells Bruce she's found something. It's not a mother box, it's a boom tube. That's the means of transportation created by a mother box. Batman muses the mother box could be anywhere in the universe. So, they leap into the boom tube.
Naturally.
They discover they're in Amanda Waller's family tomb. But it's been moved to another planet, Lobo's home planet of Caesania. While Selina tries to steal the mother box, she hits a tripwire, alerting the security guard Gunsmith, who greets Batman saying, "It's been a while since I dragged you through the streets of Gotham." So clearly they have a history that I wasn't privy to there. And the comic ends with the rest of the Suicide Squad arriving and Bizarro blasting Catwoman through the wall of the tomb as the five try to move in and take down the Bat and the Cat. So yeah, this was all right. Chip Zdarsky's run on Batman goes up and down for me, and
Yeah, same here.
yeah, after the brilliant last issue, this is down. It's a
Oh,
shame.
not a
It's a
good win.
shame. But I will say it was nice to see Batman out of Gotham doing something different.
Yeah, yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Good. So recommend if you're Batman and
I
Absolute
mean,
Power.
yeah, read Absolute Power 2 first, but yeah, then check this out.
Amazing. Okay, let's start. Oh, what's this, Jim? What's this? My beloved Gatchaman. I'm going to say it every time. I've followed this property for my entire life since I was probably about 5. So that's like 45 years. I love Gatchaman.
Yeah, I'm well aware.
I know, but I just need people to know. I need people to know. So Gatchaman 2 from Mad Cave, written by Cullen Bunn, art by Chris Batista. So issue 2 of my beloved Gatchaman, I might have not said that enough yet, is hot off the heels of issue 1, where Gatchaman in a bit of a pinch. The giant mech that's attacked the city of Megalopolis has the Science Ninja team trapped in its magnetic tentacles. It's wrapped around their ship and they're stuck. And their ship's called the God Phoenix, which I will say every single review is the coolest ship in all of pop culture. Anyway, meanwhile, back at Illyrian Dynamics, Dr. Mueller, who last issue revealed a fusion accelerator that is like set to solve the world's energy problems, is being rushed to safety because the city's under attack now. Galacta want this fusion accelerator, of course, and stop nothing to get it. And they've got an undercover agent there, one of their Devil Star agents, and she reveals herself, kicking the living shit out of all of Dr. Mueller's bodyguards, and she takes him as prisoner. They've kidnapped him. Meanwhile, the team are running out of ideas. Now, this is something really cool from the show. They've slipped in issue 2, right? So the God Phoenix, right? It's like almost indestructible spaceship, but it is about to be crushed, and right, and they have to go to like Plan B, which is their last resort, the ultimate weapon, which is transmute the ship into Firebird mode, which is exactly as cool as it sounds. It turns it into a giant fiery phoenix, mate. It just looks so damn cool, right? Just watch the cartoons. And well, now you see why I loved it as a kid, right? I'm a kid there, and the ship turns into this giant Firebird, mate. I love it. Anyways, it's the only way to get out of the mech's grasp, so they initiate Firebird mode, risking their lives, right, in the process, because they've done years and years of training to survive the pressures of that transmutation of the ship, right? But they're the Gatchaman Science Ninja team, mate. They can do it. Anyway, ship transforms into an immense fiery deathbird, and they escape Galacta's clutches, and the enemy retreats. Anyway, after they escape, Dr. Nambu, the boss, calls them back to HQ, and Ken, the leader, is given a very warm welcome by Mara. Now, these are some new characters that introduced into the whole Gatchaman world, right? They're like the B team, the team 2, the team in training. Something happens to the main team, you know, they take over, and I think that they're going with the whole sort. There's going to be a sort of little battle between the teams, but she's got like the hots for Ken, gives him a big cuddle. And June, she's the attractive female member of Gatchaman. She looks on, not amused. I wouldn't be. Don't mess with her man. Well, it's not a man yet, but anyway. Dr. Nambu debriefs them, right? And he says that the giant mech attack on the city was actually a distraction to keep them busy while Galactor agents kidnapped Dr. Mueller, the true objectives of the attack. So Birdcaps, the leader of Galactor's forces, reports all this success back to the ultimate leader of Galactor, who just belittles him. He's never thankful. He's a bit of a prick. You can't really do anything right with him. If you do anything wrong, you're dead. And we transition to Karunai City, where another scientist, Dr. Emi Oiki, and her team have picked up radio signals from a newly discovered star. Exciting stuff. So as they find this out, all the security alarms go off. It's code red, and Galactor's ship has come back, and now it's attacking their building to get inside and smash the city up or whatever's going on. Again, it's one of those diversions to so they can go kidnap Dr. Oki. But the Science Ninja team, right, they're clever. They worked it out. They swoop in out of nowhere. I don't even know how they got in. They just appear from the ceiling, right? So it's a bit of a leap, literally. They swoop in. Anyway, the Devil Star agent, did I call it Devil Star? Yeah, the agents, the Galactor agent. She's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So she takes the Doctor hostage and sticks a knife to her throat. But then June, or we know as Princess in Battle of Planets, kicks 7 bells of shit out of her and saves the Doctor, right? Because she is just as badass as the guys, all right? Okay, it's very true. Anyway, so they now work out. They're going to have to interrogate her and find out what's going on. Where are all these scientists being taken? Because there's lots of scientists being kidnapped, right? So this agent realizes that if she goes back, they're just going to kill her anyway. So might as well just, give you the information you need. She goes, well, I know where they're keeping them. And they're like, oh, what are we going to do? How are we going to get in there? What are we going to do? How are we going to do? So, and then suddenly June appears looking all hot and sexy, right? Because she is sexy, in the agent's like baddie uniform. She's like, I've got a plan. I'm going to infiltrate them. And there we have it. It ends there. Really fun. Captures the spirit of the cartoon from the 70s. It's very 70s. It's very old school comic books. You know, the whole, I'll get you, I know. Right. And again, I keep saying that I love the more adult stuff. But if you take this as it's intended, which is a little bit of fun and a homage to the original, then you get that nostalgia hit, and it's just good fun. I'm growing to love it even more each issue. So I recommend it, of course. Get some.
Good to know, man.
It's really, 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 really good. Right, moving back to Mr. Event Man. Absolute Power 2.
Absolute Power issue 2, yeah, published by DC, written by Mark Waid, with beautiful art and cover art by Dan Mora. So on Gamora Island, the Trinity of Evil, Amanda Waller, Batman Psycho Robot Failsafe, and the alien supercomputer Brainiac Queen, as well as Dreamer, Ollie Queen, Arrow, and Sergeant Steel, stand back and take stock of their collective progress so far. We learned that a massive 80% of the heroes have already been depowered and captured.
Oh, wow.
Although Waller notes that the 20% that remain free include their heaviest hitters like Batman, Superman, Nightwing, and Wonder Woman, and they've all gone underground. Brainiac Queen suggests targeting the civilians they care for, their friends and loved ones. Waller immediately shuts down this notion, stating the goal is to protect ordinary people and keep them safe. She then tells Failsafe and Arrow to monitor Task Force 7.
Oh.
And Dreamer had better get ready to convey an asset, and Brainiac Queen, you better get ready to distract with a full frontal assault. At the Fortress of Solitude, most of the remaining 20% regroup after being scattered in the first issue. Superman is stressing to Batman that Waller has his son, John, while Batman tells him to rest, as the only thing keeping him together is that really cool containment suit that you can see right there on the cover. That he's wearing to recover from the bullet wound that he got in issue 1.
Oh, yes,
the
that was quite exciting.
You can tell the collective of heroes are scared and really on the back foot following the assault, bickering over who should lead before Nightwing, or as my wife calls him, Dark Robin, Nightwing's voice cuts through the disarray, with Dick basically saying, "We're going to get through this because we know one thing Waller doesn't, what we're capable of. She thinks we're fooled without magic powers and tech. She'll never recognize the will and commitment of us all to protect the helpless and fight against injustice and tyranny, despite the odds. The end is that will be her downfall."
So it's like a God Bless America
heroes.
Speech, right? It's Independence Day.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Will Smith's going to walk
and
on
from
set in a minute.
Nightwing as well. Incredible. So yeah, all the heroes are really impressed with this speech. Batman's quietly murmuring, "That's my boy," which is a really cool moment. However, Nightwing is not done. He's assigning groups missions, which I'm sure are going to pay off in future tie-in issues. So Batman and Catwoman will acquire Waller's mother box. We talked about that earlier. Superman, Supergirl, and Zatanna are going to find allies from the multiverse. Black Canary is going to put together a squad to retrieve and locate Oliver Queen. Wonder Woman and Damian Wayne, aka the newest Robin, they're going to free Waller's prisoners.
Oh.
So Superman then uses the Fortress of Solitude tech to outfit everyone with tactical suits with surprise, really cool upgrades. But as he's doing this, all of a sudden, the fortress wall blows up and enter Brainiac Queen with a hideously techno-augmented and brainwashed Jonathan Kent.
No. They didn't go
this
there.
Sends Superman... They did go there. This sends Superman spiraling in shock and disbelief at what the Trinity dare to have done to his son as John hits the heroes with a powerful eye blast. Brainiac Queen subdues and captures members of the Titans and Plastic Man, sending them through a portal to Waller. As Donna Troy is knocked out, Dream walks through her with an Amazo robot. It's not looking good. Superman tries to snap John out of his trance desperately as the Amazo calls and addresses Batman as grandfather, which disgusts the Dark Knight. I mean, technically it's right because Batman created Failsafe. Failsafe sort of created the Amazos. Familiar is there, it's anyway. So he attacks the Amazo, taking it down with ultrasonics from his new stealth suit Superman literally just gave him. Blue Beetle and Mr. Terrific locate and activate the Phantom Zone projector. Dreamer pleads with Waller to let her go back to the base. Waller again threatens Dreamer's family if she dares to. Superman, failing to free his son, tells the Fortress of Solitude, "There's no other way. You're going to have to self-destruct." Brainiac Queen ensnares Superman as the countdown begins until she's blasted away by Dreamer. The remaining heroes escape through different portals via the Phantom Zone projector as the Fortress of Solitude explodes, taking out Dreamer, Brainiac Queen, and Jonathan Kent with it.
Woof, they're going big.
As a Kryptonian, Jonathan Kent seems to be the sole survivor. And Dreamer's last words reach Waller: I'm done. I'm done being your puppet and your plaything, and I won't be part of this anymore. They deserve better. Sergeant Steele tells Waller, your creepy dolly robot bit it as well. But Waller says Brainiac Queen's more resilient than you might imagine. John remains under her full control. Wherever the fugitives go, they can't hide from a Kryptonian. The issue ends with Oliver Queen, who's been sent to catalogue Justice League confiscated artifacts, stumbling upon Time Commander, his hourglass, with a grin saying, okay, now time's up. So
Wow.
he was behind enemy lines. This was absolutely excellent. It's just kept up the momentum from the first issue. Yeah, read it for yourself, man. Dan Moore's artwork is absolutely incredible in this as he shows the DC universes in their darkest hour.
As you know, I'm a bit cautious about these events at the moment, but if you're going to give this that kind of rave review, I'm definitely going to
I can't speak for every tie-in, but the core issues so far have been absolutely fantastic.
I'm going to get on it. So a big recommend from you. Moving on to something that I alluded to earlier about doing a review, but not a review, right? I'm not going to spoil this book.
Oh, that's good, because I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, well, that's good. Listen, when I start... Okay, let's just go through the deets, right? The Power Fantasy #1, Kieran Gillen, and art by Caspar Wingard. I think that's how you pronounce it. When I started reading this, I was like, I don't like it. It felt like they were trying to compact too much... how do I put this? Sort of political correctness into it with the certain characters and locations and everything else. I thought, this isn't going to be like this explosion of woke. So I thought, this is how it's going to be. And I thought, I'm not going to like it. And so I put it down. But I sat here and thought, you know what? That's not fair. Let's give it a go. And I am so glad I did. So this is going to be spoiler free because I don't want to take even the smallest chance of ruining this for anybody. Because I think this is going to be one of those books, if it carries on the way it is, that people look back in 20 years and still admire it. It is so good. So, spoiler-free review here. It's set in a world where superheroes exist, right? But it takes this critical look at the consequences of their existence. Like the title itself, the Power Fantasy, like it hints at like an exploration of the concept of power, which is usually idolized in superhero stories, right? And it can have dangerous implications to that world. The narrative is like aware of all the superhero tropes associated like with current superhero fiction, but it uses them to deconstruct the genre in a sense. I know I'm getting super deep, but it really resonated with me, this book. So Kieran Gillen, he's known for his intricate storytelling and exploration of moral ambiguity, right? But he introduced us to a world where there are only 6 individuals who possess superhuman abilities. These atomics, as they're known, they basically hold the fate of humanity in their hands. And it's just like layered political, ethical undertones everywhere, right? And as you go through the story, it forces us, the reader, to question the nature of power and the impact that it has on society, right? And the dialogue is so crisp and effective. It reveals all the complexities of the characters, advances the plot without any unnecessary exposition. It's so well written. The dialogue is just beautiful. There's moments of tension, introspection, right? Which punctuate the more action-oriented scenes. And Gillen managed to create a world that it feels lived in and plausible, real, despite its like fantastical elements. He makes all the stakes feel real and immediate, you know? It's like you're not disconnected, it's fantasy broadness. At its core, I think the Power Fantasy is a commentary on the alluring danger of unchecked power. And this issue explores the ethical dilemmas faced by those who wield immense power and the societal implications of such figures. So while reading it, you're challenged to reflect on what it means to be a hero in a world where the line between right and wrong is increasingly blurred. It kind of touches on contemporary anxieties, particularly fear of absolute power in the hands of a few, making it a very timely and relevant read, if you know what I mean, right? So, the Power Fantasy in my opinion, is an impressive start to a series. I think promised to be not only entertaining, but really intellectually stimulating. Like I said, Gillen's sharp writing and when you're stunning art, right, set this a very high bar. Very high bar. And I hope the rest of this book delivers. It's thought-provoking. It's good. It's great. It's all the positive words. It's an absolute must-read this week. So that's my review on the Power Fantasy. That I hope it doesn't spoil it, because I don't get to feel this way about comic books very often. So I want to do something different for this one. So yeah, I think you're a bit shocked. I think you thought I was going to shit all over it, didn't you?
You've given literally nothing away. I can't wait to read it.
Right, because I was trying really, really, really hard not to give away some stuff in there, because, mate, the moments I was telling you about, like the action-packed moments, they're brilliant, and they're dark, and they're like, what? Wow, okay, like, oh, you actually like, you're taken aback. It's brilliant. Just read it. Yes.
Okay.
So moving on. I see you're prepared there. You will have Uncanny X-Men. So, spoiler alert, I was going to review the Goon 2, right? But between my reviews, I decided to read the Uncanny X-Men while I had my expensive vanilla chai latte, right? Okay, it's a little treat for the week. I thought, you know what, sit back. I'm not going to review. I'm not going to have to worry about review. I just want to just see what this is like. And because I read it, I decided that I want to share some thoughts with this after you've done the review. So over to you, Jimmy. From the Ashes, a new beginning. The Uncanny X-Men number 1.
From the Ashes, a new beginning. Yes, Uncanny X-Men issue 1, published by Marvel, written by Gail Simone of Birds of Prey and Deadpool fame, and also she used to write some really funny Simpsons comics. Some amazing Simpsons comics from Bongo. As well, she's done with art and cover art by David Marquez. I've never seen anything this guy's done before, but you better believe me when I say I'll be reading everything that he draws in future.
The first thing I did when I dropped it, mate, was go and find a list of everything he's ever drawn.
I believe that the Uncanny X-Men is a flagship book for Marvel, like Daredevil, like the Amazing Spider-Man. You know, you should have the best creators on the best books. Otherwise, what's the point? When Joss Whedon wrote Astonishing X-Men, that was the sort of caliber that I would expect from writing on the X-Men. Not since Claremont have we seen stuff like this.
No.
So anyway, this is the first Uncanny X-Men issue to bear that name since 2019. Since then, we've had the whole Krakoa saga come and go, and this is a new start. So we open in Westchester, upstate New York, what was formerly Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, or the X-Mansion. Captain Ezra, the leader of the Sentry team, greets Dr. Ellis, a cruel, haughty-looking woman, and her assistant Philip, who's a thin, bald man on crutches, and as they tour the building. Ellis tells Ezra to refer to her as Warden, and we learn that Xavier's is due to be converted into a maximum security prison for mutants. Yeah, let that sink in.
I know, mate. I'm getting excited again, like I don't know what happened in it, because it's so good. Like the first few pages, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. This is the one hell of a cold open.
Yeah.
She sneers at the decor, telling Ezra to rip out every scrap of wood and brass in this ridiculous sham of a school. She also asked to have all of the students' possessions taken from their rooms and burned, demanding that any art or items of value be appraised for conversion into liquid assets, reiterating, this time next week, I want every single one of these dorm rooms to be a cell. She's then showing the vast space that used to house Cerebro, the X-Men's mutant locating tech hub, and she sneers, we're going to burn this vile cathedral to the ground. She's interrupted by the arrival of the first inmate, who it's hinted at is actually one of the X-Men, as she greets him with, welcome home, we're going to be doing some remodeling. I mean, you've got to have stuff in reserve if you're going to start that strong, right? The next location we visit is the Pyramid of the Sun, an Avenue of the Dead, a giant Mayan temple where we find Wolverine looking as cool as heck in his cowboy hat and his motorcycle. Yeah,
he's just a badass motherfucker there. I mean, I'll talk about it after you. Sorry, I'm interrupting your review. I'm so excited. I don't get excited.
It's really nice to see you like this, man. I've got to say. So he's greeting his friends and fellow X-Men. Rogue and Gambit. Yeah, you get the feeling some time has passed since these three have actually seen each other. Gambit says they've been hiding out, eating well, and loving better. Wolverine's in town to say goodbye to an old army buddy who unfortunately recently passed on when he was alerted to the current local problem. And the reveal of this is absolutely beautiful. David Marquez nails it. A gigantic green dragon with striking red feathers. It's curled up like a cat around the temple, sleeping. Wolverine mentions that the beast recently tangled with the Avengers and Iron Man. And when it gets peckish, it will happily eat a few locals. That's why he's decided to get his old friends to check it out. Rogue and Gambit are totally taken aback, just like I was, by this spectacle. And they reminisce, marveling at all the wonders they've seen in their time as X-Men. Until the dragon opens his eyes, introducing itself as Sadarang, the God Snake, and telling them, "Insignificant gnats, I'll make a paste of you and cook your heads for supper." Rogue's narration states, we might have got a bit overconfident here.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
As the dragon attacks them viciously, with the three of them fighting back in an absolutely stunningly drawn out sequence from David Marquez. Another otherworldly light shines on them, and the dragon assesses them. The thief, the hunter, and the scared little girl. Pathetic. Wolverine explains that there are two eyes of Agamotto. It makes sense. Most people have two eyes. Doctor Strange has one, or he did until Doom ruined his party. And the dirty flying snake has the other one. Sandarang boasts that he's actually a student of Dormammu. And Rogue hits him with a powerful uppercut. Wolverine slashes him, blinding him, while Gambit peppers him with charged up playing cards that are his signature, relieving him of the Eye of Agamotto and threatening to destroy it if he doesn't agree to go off and hibernate in Antarctica. Gambit says after a year, if he hasn't eaten anybody during that period, he'll return the eye. Sadarang accepts this, but before he leaves, Gambit, being the guild of the Thieves Guild, he asks him for a boon. So Sadarang accepts and warns them of something ruinous in their future, the word Endling, before flying away. Endling, that's the key term.
Yeah.
Leaving the three X-Men to celebrate, with Rogue especially being impressed with their husband's negotiating skills. Yeah, they're married, if you didn't know, Angelo.
Yes, no,
in a really cool little mini-series that was pre-Krakoa called Mr. and Mrs. X. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Lots of fun. Wolverine's motorcycle was destroyed during the battle, so he tags along with his friends as they're about to leave in their van. But before this can happen, Cyclops phones Rogue from his Alaskan former Sentinel base to ask a favor of her. Slight interlude next as we shift to Central Oregon and we see a teen female mutant with antlers, think Sweet Tooth, is being chased and menaced by hooded figures with energy batons. We learn that her name is Fawn, and she's not affiliated with the X-Men in any way. She didn't even go to Krakoa when she was given the chance. Before she runs into a pair of sinister, elongated claw hands on the outskirts of the woods. Back to the X-Men now, and the scene shifts to the University of Mississippi Medical Center. They're greeted by another X-Man, Kurt Wagner Nightcrawler, another one of my personal favorites. And we learn that they're there to see a sick teen, 12-year-old Harvey X, no relation, a mutant, low-level telepath and precog. Basically, if Xavier was a 10, Harvey's a number 1, maybe not even that. Gambit asks if, are we a Make-A-Wish for mutants now? But Kurt assures him he's in a stable condition right now, although he has a tumor growing in his brainstem. He's also a huge X-Men fan. I mean, who isn't? Asking for Rogue by name because she's so hot. I mean, he tells him they're all his favorites and he knows everything about them before Nightcrawler presents him with a very cool Frank Quietly style X-Men jacket.
New X-Men,
he tells Rogue, the new X-Men run. That's right. He tells Rogue that she's his favorite, putting his hand on hers as Logan tells the nurse to call for assistance. Harvey X literally goes into a trance and blurts out, "They're coming. You have to help them. One of them is the Endling."
Endling.
There's that word again. Harvey then unfortunately goes into shock and dies soon after that. Rogue is devastated and distraught by this loss, and Gail Simone does an amazing job of capturing her grief.
Oh my God, yes, she does.
The three say goodbye to Nightcrawler as he's going to give last rites and talk to the parents, and head off to stay with some friends of Gambit in Louisiana. The three drink and bond around the campsite with some more great dialogue from Gail Simone. She's knocking out of the park in this. Gambit insists that Rogue should lead this team of X-Men, if they are a team. This is then interrupted by the arrival of 4 brand new mutant teenagers, 2 male, 2 female, and a lovely horse.
Yes, don't forget the horse.
That's where the issue ends. And consider my appetite whet.
Oh
I am up
my!
up for everything that Gale wants to do with this book.
It's
Can't recommend it
incredible.
enough.
It's
Take it away,
incredible.
Angela.
It's incredible. Right. So I'm not a big X-Men fan, right?
It's true, you're not.
I'm not. I'm not. Right. I like some of the characters, but I'm not a big X-Men fan. So you mentioned Whedon's run with, was it Cassidy did on the art? When that
John
popped years,
Cassaday, yeah.
yeah. When that popped years ago, I was hooked. It was brilliant storytelling, beautiful art, and personally, I don't think there's been much at that caliber since.
It hasn't.
Not at all. And when I looked at this cover, I thought, oh, it's going to be another one of those X books, right? And then I turned to page 1, and I was hooked, absolutely hooked. What they're doing in the mansion, stripping down Cerebro. The art, I'll get to the art in a bit, but what they did, I'm speechless. The way she captured the characters, right, is so well, because everything I ever thought about his characters is there. This is those characters. It is them. It's like she's taken the DNA and put it all over the page. She's captured these characters perfectly. Like, I love them.
She's channeling Claremont in a big way, man.
Like, I really cared. I felt every single emotion that every one of these characters was. This sounds so nerdy, right? But I felt it. And I was like, if I ever wanted the perfect X-Men book and these characters a certain way, this would be it. Like I say, the art is amazing, the emotion amazing, the dialogue amazing, the little nuances, like when they're around the campfire and Gambit's friend leaves those beers there. He didn't have a bottle open, and like Wolverine's like, lucky I got, whatever, and like flicks their tops off with his. It's all these types, and you really feel the love between the characters from the minute they meet up. You just feel it. They care about each other. They're struggling with their own inner demons, as well. It's just amazing. Like,
I had a huge grin on my face during that dragon sequence. It's just
the dragon was brilliant. But they've got, unlike the kids, oh my God, the kids.
Yes,
I was in a cafe reading this, like I said. I was almost in tears.
Oh.
I was like, Jesus. Well, I've had a few friends that have gone from like cancer and things, my grandmother and everything else. So I understand. But like, I was like, I was crying with Rogue, honestly. It was brilliant. And I love how they tied in what's happening in the X-Men book with Cyclops as well. So they're showing that it's just brilliant. I could talk about this for hours, but let's just jump to the art.
Same.
Art,
this is the guy.
Oh my God, the art, the colouring, the style, his versions of the characters couldn't be any better in my book. This, for me, is probably one of the best X-Men books I've ever read in my entire life, and I've read a lot. I love it. I absolutely love it. So I am now a proper X-Men fan. This book has hooked me.
Welcome to the team.
Honestly, it hooks me right back into the fold. Honestly, Simone, Marquez, everyone else who works on this book, if by some sheer miracle you see this show, thank you. Right? This is comics. This is superheroes. This is Marvel, right? This is how you do it. So take note. It's blinding. It's blinding. Which leads me to the end of the week.
If anyone was ever on the fence about picking up an X-Men book, this is the one. Yeah. Seriously, you won't regret it.
Really is. Look, they've even gone with sort of semi-classic logo. They're using the semi-classic fonts. They've tried to elicit nostalgia, and it's perfect. And what I will mention is the QR code. They've got to stop doing this. You get a QR code, you get a little bonus page. Don't worry, it doesn't continue from this issue, but I think it goes into.
It's basically foreshadowing, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's basically foreshadowing. All of the QR codes have been foreshadowing, and apparently there won't be any more past the first issues of the relaunch books.
That's true, because they listened to the complaints.
Reaction.
Yeah,
they've had such a bad reaction. Yeah, so there you go. We won. They're
not happy. We won. So, like I said, it brings me to the end of this week's books and the really difficult choice of choosing book of the week, because the power fantasy is insanely good. and Uncanny X-Men is saying. So I've worked something out. We both get one book of the week.
Oh, we do.
So technically, I'm going to bank on what you're going to recommend so that I can recommend the other one, because I think they're both amazing. So,
okay.
Even though I think they are equally book of the week, I'll go with the Power Fantasy in the hope that, Jimmy, you're going to recommend something that might have an X in it.
Literally, maybe in any other week, Absolute Power issue 2, because that was awesome. That was really, really awesome. They brought their A game to that, but I'm sorry, Gail Simone blew them away. That was Uncanny X-Men issue 1 was my book of the week, and I can't wait for issue 2. I wish it was out now.
Go buy it. Everyone go buy it. I'm looking directly into the camera. Go buy this book. Download, whatever. Just get your hands on it. It won't disappoint.
Go and buy Uncanny X-Men issue 1.
Yes, indeed. So next on the books is next week's. So what am I looking forward to? Do you know what? Next week doesn't look very exciting to me. We've got the shit show that is the Ultimates 2 coming out. So, and we've got X-Men. We've got issue 2 of X-Men, right?
Yeah, X-Men's out. I might have a look at that. Who knows?
Yeah, because I'm not sure about it either.
I kind of have to, don't know. I kind of have to compare it.
I think we have to after that Uncanny X-Men. It'd be good to jump in and see what they're doing there. But I don't see a lot next week. What about you? What you got a couple that you look forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to Task Force 7 issue 4. Now each one of these has been written by a different writer. This one's I can't say his name properly. Pornsak Pinashaw, the guy that wrote Man's Best.
Oh yeah,
the guy that wrote Man's Best is doing one issue.
I know the guy.
And apparently, from what I hear, it's Failsafe versus Nightwing. So, consider my interest peaked on that. And Transformers issue 11.
Well, we knew that was coming. That's your Gatchaman, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, if an Uncanny X-Men issue and a Transformers issue came out in the same week, I don't know what I'd pick now.
Well, let's hope that happens, Jim. So you were in the same spot as I was just now with fantasy, the Power Fantasy and Uncanny X-Men. Anyway,
yeah, but it's 100%.
It is. It is. I honestly just I felt disappointed when I started with Venom War, but I was jumping all the way home. Right, okay, guys. Thank you for sticking with us. Like, share. Tell everybody, give us a go. Let us know what you think in the comments. But for now, it's goodbye. See you next week. Cheerio.
Bye-bye.